Hello everybody. I learned beading from my daughter, who learned from a little tiny Native American woman who taught her how to bead earrings in the way they do them without a loom. So I'd like to share that with you. First of all, I'm going to start. This is bonded nylon beading thread, and I usually just do like an arm's length, 2 arm lengths, and I usually work with a picture so that I can count beads just to give me an idea, and you can change patterns and whatever as you get better. And I don't know if you can see those or not, but I've got, these are number 3 bugle beads, and I've got 11 of them. And we're going, I have a beading needle that I have already beaded my thread on. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put the bugle beads on the needle here. Get them on the thread. Since it's before Valentine's Day, I am doing my usual little heart earrings. And I just got these vintage baby pink bugle beads. So you just get them on your string like that. And then I carefully get them to the other end of the string. I'm going to leave about 3 inches there. And I hold this string down. I don't know if you can see that, but I just hold the string down like this. And what I do is I go the second to the last one, and I go down through the top of it. Don't know if you can see that, while holding the top of the string down. And then I just go through that one. As you can see, it just makes a loop and ties it with the last one like that. And I just keep doing that. Go down through the top of that one and go through it. And it helps if you hold that little group down. Just pull it through. You just want to keep doing this until you've got all of them on there, and they will be all together in a row there. Just go down through the top. Now you don't want to go through any of these beads here. You want to just bring your needle underneath them. And just pull your string through. Like I said, you just want to go down through this bead here and go underneath them. We're just going to keep sewing these all together. As you can see, you're getting your row. So just keep doing this until you get all of them. You want to try to keep these strings over to your right. Keep them out of your way because you don't want to get them tangled up. Okay, now when you get those all sewed together in a row like that, I take and I go through. It would be the side where your thread has come through, not where your little tail is. So I go into the second bead and go through it so that both strings are on the same side. Like that. Then what I do is I just make a double knot in them, tie them together. Now since this is a nylon and it will come undone, what I use is I use the clear gel tacky glue. You can use a toothpick or just a large needle, and I just dab a little bit on the end there. And I just put on that knot. Then I just stick the needle through the beads to make sure that they're clear, because you're going to have to come back through these several times with the needle. Just make sure there's no glue in there. Then I just take my scissors and the little tail that is on here, I just cut that off. And you don't want to pull on this string tight because your knot will come undone. And then I just go back through the bead. Okay, so there's your row of the bugle beads. And now you're ready to start with the upper part. And you just count how many beads you need across there. Now what I do is I just get the bead on the needle, and you want to go under that loop there. And then what you do is you go under the bead and go back up through the top, and that ties it into place. Then you just get another bead. You keep going across here, and you're putting your needle in between each bugle bead. So you're going in the little loop that is right between the two bugle beads, the string that goes from the top of one bugle bead over to the next one. You're going right underneath that string. And then you go back up through it, tie it in place. So you can count on your pattern that there is 10 beads across here. So you just keep count. And it does help having a pattern. Then that way you can see how many beads you need to count for each one. Keeps your pattern straight. Especially when you're doing something with like a heart, because if your pattern is off even by one bead, it is very noticeable. I am using size 11 seed beads or tube beads. Now you can use any size beads you want. Your pattern should be very similar. The principle is the same. I just find it really difficult to work with the 15s because they're really small. Okay, so we've got our row across there. And then you just want to turn it and just do the same thing, except instead of going between bugle beads, you're going to be going in the loop that goes across the top of those two beads. And it's just going to do the same thing. See, now in our pattern, we know that we're going to be doing 4 of the white ones. Now instead of red, I am using pink. Like I said, it makes it much easier when you have a pattern that you can, keep checking your pattern, your design. Especially when you're doing something like a heart, because it cannot be off any. Like I said, one bead can throw your whole pattern off. And we're just going to keep working up and just counting our beads and putting them on. But I think you get the idea. And because you go in between, the row below it, it will do like a pyramid shape and keep getting smaller and smaller. So we'll keep doing this, and I'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, so when you get to the 2 at the very top, then you want to get, I usually use 5 beads. Seems to be a good size. I get 5 beads on my needle, and then I go back down the top of the opposite side of where my thread is coming out of, and I go back down through these beads on the side. So you just want to form a loop at the top, and that is where your ear wire is going to be placed. So I just go down the side of all of these, down through my bugle bead to the bottom here, and just pull that through. Now the top is complete, and now we can start on the bottom part. You just want to look at your pattern and get your numbers and put the entire row of beads on there. Okay, so I got my 24 white beads. Then I take my bugle bead, put it at the bottom. Now I usually use 3 beads. Makes kind of like a little tiny star at the bottom of each strand. So you put your 3 beads on and you go back up through the beads that you just put on. And back in the bottom of the bugle bead, don't know if you can see that, and go through the top, and you want to pull this string through. And just hold your bead there, and then you can just tighten that. And just make sure they make the little tiny star at the bottom. Okay, then you want to go back down through the bugle bead next to the one you just did, and you just want to continue this across until you've completed your entire pattern. Okay, I've got my last strand right here, and I've got my 3 on my needle, and we want to go back up through the bottom of the bugle bead and back up through this whole row. Because you don't want to go back through the 3 because you'll lose them all. Because you want to make a little loop to tie it at the bottom so that they can't come off. Okay, and you just pull it snug. Now what I do is go through the top of the bugle bead, and I go through around, and I just tie a little knot in this. Just to keep it all snug. See, and it just stays hidden in there. And then what I do is I go back up through all of these side beads here, just to reinforce where the ear wire is going to be. Just go back through all of these. And just kind of holds it more secure also. So that when you cut the tail of your string off, it won't come loose. Then you just go down through the top of your last bugle bead there, down through the bottom. Take your needle off and just cut that thread off. Now if you want, you can take and put a dab of glue there. I usually don't find it necessary. Okay, then I get an ear hook here. Just open that up a little bit, and then just put that on there. And then just tighten that carefully without breaking your beads. Just close that up. And there are your earrings. I will put a link down below to our Etsy store for anyone who is interested in purchasing a pair of earrings. Thank you for watching and have fun beading. Bye.